Hi guys, Knife Detector here. And if you're new to my channel, I love to make videos in my channel about vintage and unique knives. Mostly vintage, but if I find a modern knife that is unique, that really attracts my attention, then I like to make a video on those too. Especially knives that are very utilitarian and easy to use and are very useful. I believe all knives are useful tools and have their place, right, in our lives. So usually when I make my videos, I also have a story that goes along with it. Not always, but if there's a story that goes along with the knife, then I do include the story, right? This is one of those videos. So back in the day when my wife and I were recently engaged, probably around 22 years ago, 22, 23 years ago, this is probably in the 1995, 96 time range. I know my math is a little off there, but it was a long time ago. And I know we were engaged for a couple of years, but I think we may have been dating or engaged. There was a store called Service Merchandise. And in this store, basically they had displays and they had things outside or inside the store in displays for you to look at, right? And if you saw something you liked, you'd write down the number, you'd give the tag to the person at the register, they'd charge you for it just with the piece of paper on the tag, and then they'd type in some numbers on their machine, and lo and behold, they had a conveyor belt in the back. And there were employees in the warehouse in the back, and they would shoot the stuff down the conveyor belt, and then you'd pick it up at the conveyor belt at the end of the transaction. So basically you'd pay for it, they'd hand you a piece of paper, you'd hand the piece of paper to the people at the conveyor system, and then you'd wait for the people that were in the warehouse to toss your item down the conveyor. And I mean toss because as it was coming down the conveyor, sometimes you see the boxes tumbling and so forth. It was a fun thing because you'd wait for your item to come down the conveyor, and it was kind of like a Christmas moment when you're getting your gift, right? Well, the occasion it was my birthday, and my wife has always known that I collect pocket knives and fixed blade knives, and so she saw this one, and she saw me eyeing this one, and back then this knife cost $50. As you've seen in the title of the video, the knife I'm going to be showing you today is the Buck Titanium, and I'm going to be weighing that for you today, and I'm going to be comparing it with a traditional Buck 110 and show you what the differences might be. And I first wanted to start off by telling you the background information. So I got this knife, right? Oh, I love this knife. I would carry it very often. And then one day I got very impatient. I think it was I was on my motorcycle and something came loose. A screw came loose. I don't know if it was to the battery box on my motorcycle, and I didn't have a screwdriver. So I decided to use my wonderful Buck Titanium, and I put a little dent on the edge, the cutting edge, or a little chip on the cutting edge, and I even bent the tip ever so slightly, which I'm about to show you right now. So first off, check out this sheath. I like that it says Buck in red. I think that's really cool, but I'm not a fan of this stuff. This is kind of flimsy to me. I prefer the leather sheaths. This just feels like it'll come loose, even though I haven't used it much, probably for that reason. It says Buck right there on the button. Do like that. And here you have it. This is the Buck Titanium. See how it says Buck right there on this side? And it says Buck right there on that side. This is a very light knife, guys. It's very light. As you can see, it's not very wide, but it's wide enough so you can get a good grip on it in your hand. And it's got finger grooves. But this titanium, I don't know if it's these circles that are built in, beveled in there, but it just feels really good in the hand. I don't know if you can just kind of hear me moving it around in my hand. I don't know. It's you can tell that whatever you're holding on to is grippy. And this titanium is very easy to hang on to. And I have a feeling it has to do with the metal. Not just the finger grooves, not just these circular indentations here, although they're done very nicely, but something with the metal inherent to titanium. I don't know if it just is more grippy the way it's fabricated here. But anyhow, if you were to look this up, this is a Buck 560. It's a Buck 560. And there's the little dent that I put in it. If you look at it this way, you can kind of see ever so slight a dent or a curve right there on the tip of my overzealous youth, right? And here you can kind of see where I started to try and use that as a screwdriver to kind of turn it. So I wanted to show you this knife. This really is a fantastic knife, guys. I did use it quite a bit to start off, but ever since then, I did lock this up, and I barely went today to unlock it. And I wanted to share it with you. I do love this knife, and this knife has sentimental value. This knife went as high as $300 on eBay for a knife that is in new condition. The used ones were going for between $150 and $200 several years back. Now I think that you can probably get one of these for about $100, $120 on eBay used, possibly in slightly less condition than this. But this is in pretty good condition. That's the only part that I'm not a big fan of, that I put that little kind of a dent there. So I'm going to put that up for you for a little bit. But in any case, I wanted to weigh this for you so that you can kind of see what the difference is between this buck 560 and a buck 110. So you can kind of understand how light this titanium is. And so we're going to move a couple of things out of the way. Let me get my scale. First thing we're going to do is we're going to weigh the buck 110. And we're going to see what the weight on that is. And just to give you some information on it, we're going to turn this on, and I can see it is set for ounces. So let's do ounces. So this buck 110, and this, just so you know, this is a buck 110 4-dot. This is a 4-dot, and this buck 110 is, oh, it turned off on me. I might need to replace the battery. Woo, 7.5 ounces on this buck 110 4-dot, and it just turned off on me again. Yeah, I think it's time to replace the battery on this bad boy. But you can see before it turns off, oh, it's not allowing me to weigh it. Ooh, that's unfortunate, guys. Sorry about that, but these things happen in an unplanned video. Wow, what kind of batteries does it use? It uses these Energizer ones. I do not have another one of those on me. I'm going to have to try and look for one of those. Oh well. Well, we saw 7.5 ounces on the buck 110. Let's see if it turns on right now and I can get the weight of this one super quick before anything else happens. 4.7. Did you see that? 4.7. It came up. So 4.7 ounces as compared to the 7.5. So that to me says a significant difference. So the titanium is extremely light as far as metals go. Okay, guys, so this was just going to be a brief video. I wanted to share that trip down memory lane for you, and I wanted to show you an up-close look of what this buck titanium looks like. It's a lockback design. Kind of looks like it has a little bit of Japanese influence on it, though I can't prove that. It's a beautiful knife, guys. If you ever have the occasion to come across one of these, I highly recommend it. This does not see much use ever since I first got it. Once I put that nice nick in the blade, and once I bent the tip ever so slightly, I kind of didn't use it very much anymore. I carry it very, very seldomly, but I do like it very much, and this to me will always be a reminder of my wife and her respect of my love for cutlery, and how she took my needs into consideration even before we were married. So to me, that means a great deal. So this knife has great sentimental value for me. So until then, guys, I want to wish all of you guys a wonderful Thanksgiving. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving, and we thank the Lord for all of the wonderful blessings that we have in our lives. I know I will be celebrating it with my family, and I hope and I pray that you also will be celebrating it with yours. So until then, this is Knife Detector saying please like and subscribe, and as always, stay sharp, my friends. Ooh, sorry about that.